Just a little bit ago, Crafters MC Skyblock dropped a massive update for the server, and let me tell you, I was not aware of this update like at all. I thought it was just bug fixes. They released Skyblock patch version 0.2.10, or what I will be calling it, the farming update on Crafters MC Skyblock. This update has added some well-needed quality of life changes, as well as adding new items to the game that players have been begging for months now. Today, we go over what's added to the server, how to get the new items, and how to best use them for ultimate profits. Let's get into it. We are first going to talk about personal compactors and personal deleters. Personal compactors allow you to automatically compact certain materials in your inventory into their enchanted or block forms. An example of this would be farming potatoes in Fertile Valley being automatically converted into enchanted potatoes once you have enough to make one. Or if you're farming wood within the park, the logs will be converted into enchanted logs instead for its block form. This goes for any other material or block that has enchanted forms as well. There are 4 different personal compactor tiers, starting with the lowest tier of 4000, which allows one slot to be configured at a time. The higher the tier, the more slots you can use to compact multiple items at a time. But if you're starting out, the Personal Compactor 4000 will do just fine. Personal compactors are a part of the Redstone collection, with the Personal Compactor 4000 being at Redstone Collection 9. The Personal Compactor 4000 takes 1 Super Compactor 3000 and 7 enchanted redstone blocks to craft. If you decide to upgrade your Personal Compactor, the enchanted redstone blocks needed to craft the next tier will increase substantially. How do you get Personal Compactors? Redstone. Lots and lots of redstone. Redstone minions with enchanted lava buckets or even foul flesh for more speed will get the job done here. Now let's move on to personal deleters. Just like personal compactors, personal deleters are pretty similar, but instead of compacting items, you can automatically delete items that you pick up. For example, you want to farm wheat in Fertile Valley, but you don't want the seeds? Well, now you can just send those seeds into the Shadow Realm with your personal deleter. Thank you, Crafters MC. Personal deleters also have 4 tiers for you to craft, starting with the Personal Deleter 4000. Personal deleters belong to the Iron Ingot collection, starting with Iron Ingot Collection 9. The Personal Deleter uses 1 enchanted redstone block, 1 enchanted lava bucket, and 112 enchanted iron ingots to craft, or a stack in 48. Just like personal compactors, if you want to upgrade your Shadow Realm item yeeting capabilities, you'll need more enchanted iron ingots in order to do so. How do you get a personal deleter? To be honest, I think the best method is, again, having some redstone minions and iron minions to collect both the enchanted redstone and enchanted iron for the materials. Use either enchanted lava buckets or foul flesh to speed up the process as necessary. The enchanted lava bucket can either be bought through the auction house, or honestly, have a coal minion to get 2 enchanted coal blocks. But since this is a part of the iron collection, I think it's actually a safe bet to go with more iron minions so you can have more enchanted iron faster. Now let's take a look at the new collection added to Skyblock, Cocoa Beans, which can be farmed for the best enchantment in the game. More on that in just a second. With cocoa beans now being added into the game, this also introduces cocoa bean minions, enchanted cocoa beans, enchanted cookies, and at the mountaintop for farming the Cocoa Bean Collection 8 is the Replenish enchantment. The enchantment that started a cocoa bean war and mafia over the server. Let me explain. The Replenished enchantment allows you to replant crops, netherwort, or cocoa beans from the materials in your inventory once you harvest them. When I put out my 10 Skyblock tips video on how to be better at Crafters MC Skyblock, I said that you shouldn't build a potato farm because the Replenished enchantment isn't out yet. The update dropped a day after I uploaded that video, which made that tip irrelevant. So now that the server has introduced cocoa beans and the very useful Replenish enchantment, they are in very high demand. You can get cocoa beans within the jungle area in the park. Once you get your first cocoa beans, it's best to build a farm for them because they are pretty hard to find in the jungle area. I recommend using a 3-high jungle log farm across your entire island. That way you can place them and mine them pretty fast. The main strategy for more cocoa beans here is to keep reusing the cocoa beans across your entire farm until you can make bigger farms, or by crafting a couple of cocoa bean minions with speed boosts. Keep in mind though that the cocoa bean minions are pretty slow. Throwing in a few foul flesh from slayers is a must if you want these guys to go fast on cocoa bean collections. However, if you want as many cocoa beans as possible, farming them manually is the way to go. The main use for cocoa beans and its existence on the server is for crafting the Replenish enchant. The Replenish enchant requires 16 enchanted cookies, which also takes 2 stacks of enchanted cocoa beans and some wheat to craft 1 of those enchanted cookies. Long story short, it's a grind to get Replenish. To be honest, there really is no easier way than to farm the cocoa beans yourself. You will also need to reach collection Collection 8 in order to craft Replenish as well. You can also look on the auction house where people are selling a lot of enchanted cocoa beans and a lot of enchanted cookies. But if you do have the coins, some people do have Replenish on the auction house for you to just buy outright. And finally, let's go over a few ways you can make a lot of coins from this farming update. The first ways to make a lot of coins are through selling enchanted redstone blocks and enchanted iron ingots for personal compactors and deleters. I believe personal compactors are more important than deleters if you're chasing one or the other. So I would be selling enchanted redstone blocks first over iron ingots, as a lot of people are seeking the enchanted redstone blocks in order to craft them. Selling enchanted iron ingots is another valuable resource that a lot of people will be looking for as well for the personal deleters. The next method of making easy coins is to sell enchanted cocoa beans or enchanted cookies in the auction house. Like I mentioned previously, the Replenish enchant has made the server crazy with players wanting to get their hands on it. If you look in the auction house, a lot of players are selling their enchanted cocoa beans and enchanted cookies for the people who are going after Replenish. You can easily make the enchanted cocoa beans and sell them within the auction house to a lot of players who need them. And lastly, a tip that's not really for everyone, but selling personal compactors and deleters can also be another great way to make coins. Generally, players who don't have the materials might just want to buy one from the auction house, which means that if you can craft multiple personal compactors and deleters to sell, they might just actually be good for making some good coins. With everything being said, that is your full farming update patch notes for Crafters MC Skyblock. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Real, homie on the rail, tell me how you feel. Everything I spit is